I'm trying to grow crystals of ruby at home. In my last episode, I got some tiny crystals to grow, setting my size record at 1 millimeter. I felt like I had the basics figured out, so it was time to bust out my secret ingredient, sodium carbonate. This melts and forms a skin on the top of the molybdenum oxide, which keeps it from evaporating quite as quickly. This should buy time so I can slowly cool the melt and form bigger and better ruby crystals. And wait, it actually worked? Look at these gorgeous rubies! And they're intergrown with cubic zirconia recrystallized from the crucible walls. The metallic luster of the zirconia makes it look like it's already set in a piece of jewelry. These actually aren't much bigger than the previous ones, only bringing the record up to 1.5 millimeters, but they're beautiful, well-formed, and abundant, a huge step up. At this point, I thought it might have actually just run out of ruby to recrystallize. So I tried to replicate it, and the crucible broke during growth, everything spilled out, and the rubies were really small. Though admittedly, these crystals of cubic zirconia on a bed of rubies are rather pretty. So I tried again, and the crucible broke again. And I tried again, and the crucible broke again. I got no problem continuing to grind when things are difficult, but to me this seemed like a sign that I should at least explore some other options. This would be really easy if I could just spend thousands of dollars on platinum crucibles, so what if I just plated platinum over a cheaper metal? So I got a stainless steel and a nickel crucible and thought I'd give it a try. To be honest, I didn't have high expectations for this, but a few people suggested it, so why not? I also figured I'd try this magnesia crucible since they're on eBay and I hadn't tried one yet. Okay, 2 days of cooking later and... yep, that doesn't look good. I mean, obviously I knew nickel and steel would oxidize. I just didn't expect it to be quite this bad. At this point, the steel run is just a pile of rust, but the nickel crucible actually survived as a paper-thin husk in a pile of green nickel oxide. Don't breathe this. There actually were some crystals in here. These dark brown ones could actually be a really nickel-rich sapphire, and there were a couple of these vivid blue nickel aluminate crystals. The magnesium oxide crucible held on much better, but it turns out molybdenum oxide likes dissolving it as well. So even though I got some beautiful red crystals, I'm pretty sure they're magnesium aluminate, also known as spinel, rather than ruby. That's a beautiful gem in its own right, but not what I'm trying to do just now. But there were also some of these deep blue crystals that grew alongside them. Maybe blue spinel, but with what colorant I don't know. And some odd peach-colored bladed crystals on top. Probably just magnesium oxide with a few impurities, but I'm really not sure. Anyway, interesting as these were, I don't think they're going to be great for growing rubies. So I think what I've got to do is just find better zirconia crucibles. My next goal is to grow a ruby crystal big enough that it can be used as a seed without fully dissolving, which will hopefully let me grow an even bigger crystal. And eventually, I'll have one big enough to cut into a gem. But if you don't want to wait and just want a lab ruby of your own, we've got a wide selection of them available, including some vintage ruby laser rods, at the link in my bio, or go to gemsofscience.com to get yours.